friends. It's Mr. Rogers here, and we are going to go over the Osmosis worksheet. I'm just going to give you guys some help on it to begin with. Make sure we're all on the same page. This is something that, sorry, I guess I'm hoping that you guys remember from 10th grade. I guess would be what I'm hoping for. This is actually a sheet that I give in 10th grade, so I want to make sure we start something simple. So with osmosis, it's the movement of water from a high concentration of water to a low concentration. And why water is moving is because the solute can't. And most of the time, the solute in this situation will be either a large polar molecule that can't get through the cell membrane, or it's an ion charged particle that the charge stops it from going through the membrane. So the solute can't get through, so the water is trying to balance out the concentration by itself. And so it's going to move from a high to a low. On Friday, I talked about in class that if you can remember, water is always going to move from the side with the hypertonic to the hypotonic. Or sorry, reverse. Sorry, my bad. Sorry. It's going to go from the hypotonic to the hypertonic, the hypo to the hyper. And so I also talked about in class that I don't know if I did as good of a job with the online kids, and I'm sorry, that you're going to have a duality in all these situations. And what I mean by that is we are always going to have one side being one thing, one side being the other thing. So right off the bat here, I can see water is moving out because it's going from 90 to 85. So I said it's always going from hypo to hyper. So this is the hypertonic side. This is hypotonic. Okay, hyper, hypo. Remember, like I just said, if one side is one thing, well, I know this is the hypertonic side. The inside the cell must be hypo. It's kind of like having a light switch. If classroom has its lights on, then it's on. If it's off, it's off. And so there's only two options here. So if one is this one, the other one has to be the other one. Okay. Way before you know it's hypo is you look at the solute concentration. Now you can look at the water or the solute. So if I look at the water, the hypo side is always going to have more water. The hyper side is always going to have less water. Now, truly what hypo and hyper is referring to, though, is the solute concentration. So hypo means below, hyper means above. So inside the cell, it is below the other concentration. This is above this concentration. So this is hypotonic, hypertonic. So the water is going to leave. Now, we always identify the solution outside. That's what we're kind of focusing on, is what the cell is in. So this would be considered, as it says, identify the type of solution. This is hypertonic. Let's look at this guy. So I have 40% water, 90% water. 60% solute, 10% solute. So I have a hypertonic solution here inside the cell, a hypotonic on the outside. So it would be a hypotonic situation. The water will be going into the cell, 90 to 40, and the cell will be getting bigger. 75, 80, the water will be going into the cell here. This being 25% solute is a hyper. This is hypo. Okay, so water is going to be going in. Not nearly as much water is going in on this one as this guy, because this guy is a lot closer in range than these two, but it's still going in. So I want you guys to practice this, keep going through. If you need help, obviously get a hold of me and I will help you. There's also on today's thing, there is a challenge question. This was a little bit trickier. We're going to go through it tomorrow and make sure that we understand it. So that's part of your work today. And then you have a case study. We're going to be doing this in class. The case study will probably even go into tomorrow as well. So just letting you guys know. All right, guys. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.